Paramount goes crazy in their attempt to recapture their relevance in the physical media world. The Grand Budapest Hotel gets a Criterion release, and Arrow unveils their July lineup. All this and more in the Physical Media Report. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys, to the Physical Media Report. Thank you all for joining me here today on this Monday afternoon. I'm glad that you could come here for all the latest in physical media news, all the new releases that are coming out this week, the deals, showing off my new pickups, just everything physical media I'm going to cover this week. This is your one-stop shop for everything physical media related. All the big news that you could hear in the world of Blu-ray and 4K, maybe even DVD, is going to be right here on this show. So tune in every single week at 3 o'clock on Mondays to receive your weekly dose of information of physical media. So let's get started, guys. So like I said, this is a weekly show. Every Monday, I'm gonna get into the production booth. I'm gonna film my new show, and I'm gonna talk about some physical media. So this is episode 2, and we're rolling right along. I can't believe I made it to episode 2, and I haven't already fallen off of this schedule that I've set for myself. But I'm very passionate about physical media, and I want to share with you all what's going on, the news. Just everything. And this week, to be honest, at first glance, it seemed kind of dry. There didn't seem like there was a lot going on. But then I got to looking, and I found some pretty interesting stuff to cover here today. So right before we get into this, guys, I'm going to ask that you guys please just do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more physical media reports. I launched a new show on Thursdays. It's called The Haunting of Mid-Level. That will return this week as well for episode 2. I also do unboxings and giveaways for the latest Blu-ray 4K releases. I did a Bad Boys for Life giveaway last week. I'm going to be announcing the winner for that soon. I do not have immediate plans this week for another giveaway, but I do have The Gentleman on the way on 4K, so hopefully next week I'm going to be doing a Gentleman giveaway on this channel. Now, another thing that I'm doing on this channel right now is I'm showing off my entire Blu-ray 4K collection, and that will continue this week when I show off all of these steelbooks in my collection. So that'll be a really interesting video to do, and I hope you all tune in to check that one out. But guys, let's go ahead and get into this. Right now we got some news, and I'm gonna go ahead and start us off by Warner Archive, who I don't know if you follow those guys. They have an Instagram page. I can link that down below for you guys, and I can link their website as well. But they do great work in just remastering old films, classic films from their catalog. And, if you don't know who I'm talking about, right here, they did The Thing from Another World release last year, which is an excellent release. And, they kill it. They release at least 5 to 6 new titles every month, and they're all just, the presentation on them is outstanding, just great artwork and great quality to them. So this week, they announced their entire May lineup, and the first one on that list is Inside Daisy Clover, which is a 1965 film. It looked to be some kind of coming-of-age story from 1965. I didn't really know any of the actors or actresses involved, but that comes out on May the 12th. And then we also have The Mystery of the Wax Museum, which is a 1933 film, and that comes out on May the 12th. And we also have Lucifer, which I don't know if you guys watched Lucifer, but I'm pretty sure that show was on the CW, if I'm not mistaken, and then it got canceled, and then Netflix revitalized it. So the 4th season of that is coming out on May the 12th as well, and that's another thing that the Warner Archive does, is they also release television series on Blu-ray as well sometimes. And let's see, on May the 19th, guys, we got Sunday in New York, which is a movie starring Rod Taylor and Jane Fonda. Came out in 1963, and that comes out on May the 19th. And then we have Selena, a popular 1997 movie, which I'm pretty sure earned Jennifer Lopez an Academy Award nomination. And that stars J-Lo, and that comes out on May the 19th. And the next one comes out on May the 26th, and it's called The Reluctant Debutante. And that is a 1958 film, which, interesting enough, stars a very young John Saxon, who, if you don't know who John Saxon is, he's the dad in A Nightmare on Elm Street, and he was in a few other genre films in the 80s, but he's very young in this. I looked at some pictures. He's probably like 23, 24, so that's pretty cool. So that's the Warner Archive, guys. Those titles are coming out in May, which full disclosure, I have a partnership with the Warner Archive right now. They send me a couple titles every month that I review. And yeah, I love the Warner Archive. I think even if they didn't send me their stuff, I would probably purchase a lot of it because they do great work on their physical media releases. So I definitely recommend you guys checking them out. So the next thing we're going to go into, guys, is Arrow Video unleashed their entire July lineup that's coming out, and this is 4 films, and the first one that we have is Black Rainbow, and that releases on July the 7th. And these all look, I'm not familiar with hardly any of these, and like I said, there's not a lot on the surface for this week as far as news, so I had to dig pretty deep. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to cover is pretty obscure. But Black Rainbow, which is a genre flick from 1989, and that releases on July the 7th. We also have Inferno of Torture, which is described as an erotic exploitation film from 1969, and that releases on July the 7th. And the next one is Zombie for Sale, which is a 2019 film apparently, and that releases on July the 7th. And we also have Bloodstone, which is a 1988 film that releases on July 21st as well. So, all right, guys. So that's that news. Let's move on to the main event of the news, and I want to talk about Paramount for a second, because Paramount Studios, they've always done good work in physical media, but they are really starting to kill it in the physical media department. They just unveiled and released their newest line, which is Paramount Presents, and I kind of say that's akin to the Warner Archive. It's kind of their brand of what the Warner Archive has been doing, which they're kind of re-releasing old catalog films that they have. But they have fantastic presentation on them. And I'm going to go ahead and cheat and get into my this week's pickups right now. But I just received the Fatal Attraction one, and it's really cool. They have really cool slipcovers and all that stuff. So I'll get into those a little later when I go over to my this week's pickups. But that's an example of what Paramount Presents is doing right now with those. But they announced some new titles that release, and so this past week they did the Elvis King Creole, they did Fatal Attraction, and they did Alfred Hitchcock's To Catch a Thief. They released all those on Blu-ray, and they have announced pretty much the next 5 that they're planning to do in their catalog, and they have these numbered 1, 2, and 3, and I'm really going to try to collect all of them, at least for right now. But in the immediate future, they have Days of Thunder, which is releasing on May the 19th, and that's going to be a Paramount Presents. And they also have Flash Dance, which is going to be a Paramount Presents as well, that release on May the 19th. And we also have Pretty in Pink, which is going to be released on June the 16th. Airplane, which this was just announced probably like 2 days ago. I'm super excited for that. I don't have Airplane in my collection. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. That releases on June the 30th. And Ghost was also announced, but it does not have a release date attached to that title yet, so we're going to have to wait on that one. And also, guys, Paramount Presents on May the 19th, and May the 19th, we're going to have to go into that at some point in an episode of the Physical Media Report, because May the 19th, if you guys have not scouted that date ahead, that is going to be an incredible day for collecting physical media. There's so much coming out that day, it's not even funny. And among some of the things that is coming out is you have the Days of Thunder 4K, which is interesting that Paramount chose to put that in a Paramount Presents, but they also have it in a 4K. But the next 2 titles I'm going to cover are not in a Paramount Presents, they're only in 4K. But the other 2 titles besides Days of Thunder that are receiving a 4K treatment is The War of the Worlds and Top Gun. So these are all Tom Cruise films, starring Tom Cruise, and they're all getting 4K treatments, and I love the covers on all of these. And I'm pretty sure, I know that Top Gun is getting a steelbook. I'm pretty sure that they're all getting steelbooks. I could be wrong with that. I'm gonna investigate that a little further. Maybe if they are getting steelbooks, I'll post some pictures up on the show just to give you all a glimpse of those. But that does it for the news, guys. And like I said, there just wasn't a whole lot going on this week, but I had to do some digging to get all that information. And the 4K Paramounts were announced weeks ago, but I thought I would bring that back up just to let you all know kind of what's coming if you haven't heard it yet. So the next thing I'm going to go into, guys, is here at the Mid-Level Media channel, we like to look out for our fans. We like to look out for our subscriber base. I like to let you all know when there's deals, that are worth your time, that are worth your effort and your dollars. So I'm going to go over some notable deals right here that are currently ongoing. A lot of these on Amazon.com, but I'll try to link as many of these as I can down below. But the first deal, and these are really great deals, but you have Captain America, Winter Soldier, and Civil War on 4K. Both of those are going for $17.99 right now on Amazon.com. So that is a huge deal because those movies usually go for $30. And Disney does not usually waver in their price. So for those to go down, if you don't own those two on 4K, they're fantastic films. They're two of the best Marvel films, in my opinion. Definitely get on there and grab those two for sure. And another really great deal is Arrival. Is on Amazon right now for $6, and I don't know how much Arrival is usually, and this is the Blu-ray copy, not the 4K, but $6 is an absolute steal for Arrival. That movie is a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite films of 2016, so definitely get on Amazon and pick that one up. Another one, we had the Suspiria remake is going for $9.99 on Amazon right now, so that's a great deal for that. I really enjoyed the Suspiria remake. I think it's a better movie than the original, even though the original is way more flashy and visually stunning. I thought the remake was pretty good, so get on there and grab that one. And we also have the 2019 Best Picture winner, the movie from 2018, Green Book, is on Blu-ray for $8 on Amazon.com right now. So even with the controversy, I love Green Book. I think it's a great movie. I didn't have a problem with it winning Best Picture. So if you haven't seen Green Book, don't listen to all the haters. Get on Amazon.com, buy it for $8, and you won't regret it. So the next one, and I actually saw this. This was posted by somebody on Instagram, and as soon as I saw it, I got on Amazon and bought it because I love collecting for Scream Factory, and I really love this horror movie. As cheesy as it is, I think it's one of the best. And Sleepaway Camp right now is $12.99 on Amazon, and that movie is usually $22.99, so that's about $10 off. So that's a great deal for that. And you also have Secret Life of Pets 2, the 4K, for $9.99. So if you got kids, if you like animated films, I didn't think Secret Life of Pets 2 was that bad. I thought it was pretty good. So for $10 for a 4K, not a bad deal at all, guys. Not a bad deal. So that does it for the deals, guys. I hope that something piqued your interest in there, and I could save you a little bit of money here on the Physical Media Report. Give you a little value for your viewing here on the show. So let's go in, guys. I'm gonna get into, and I started this segment last week, the top 5 Blu-ray and the top 5 4K. I'm gonna quickly call those out because really not a lot. At least in the Blu-ray. The 4K is a little bit more jumbled this week, but the Blu-ray didn't change a whole lot. At number 1, you still had Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. At number 2, you had Dolittle. Number 3, Jumanji: The Next Level. 4, 1917, and 5, Little Women. So I think last week Little Women was number 3, so that shifted down a little bit, but most of the other, I think this is pretty much the same top 5 Blu-rays from last week, which makes sense because nothing really big came out that week. Like Bad Boys for Life came out last week, so I imagine that's going to be on the chart the following week because these are a week behind. This is for the 12th through the 18th, so I imagine Bad Boys for Life should make a pretty big impact on next week's report, but as for right now, it's still Star Wars that's on top. So as far as the 4Ks, you had Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker at number 1, you had Joker at number 2, you had Ford v Ferrari at number 3, which I don't remember seeing on last week's list. Rambo: Last Blood, which was number 5 last week, is now number 4 on this week's 4K this week. So I guess some Rambo fans, more Rambo fans came out of the woodwork this week to pick up Rambo: Last Blood, which is kind of interesting. And then you had 1917 at number 5. So I'm always happy to see 1917 on the list because I think more people should be watching that. In my opinion, that was the best movie of 2019, but that's just my opinion. All right, guys. So that does it for the deals, the top fives, the news. So what else we got going on here? I did get a couple questions submitted to me for a Q&A portion of this show. And I wasn't originally going to do a Q&A on this show because I didn't really see this as a Q&A type show, but I got a request. Somebody's like, "Hey, you did the Q&A on the Haunting of Mid-Level. Will you do it on the Physical Media Report?" So sure, why not, guys? Let's ask some, and it could be pretty fun. Y'all asking me some physical media based questions just on my collection. Maybe ask me like what I prefer. Do I prefer movies with slipcovers? Do I prefer them with not? Do I prefer 4K, Blu-ray? Like what? How do I decide if I pick up a 4K versus a Blu-ray? Like questions like that could be pretty fun. So let's get into the first question that was asked by Iceman's Movies, and he asked me, "Are you picking up Guns Akimbo? And also, I love this show. Thanks for making it. It actually helps me." Well, thank you very much for saying that because that is exactly why I do the Physical Media Report. And that's to help you guys, to guide you all through everything that's new in physical media for that coming week, all the news, the announcements, just to make sure that you guys are in the loop and you got something to watch every week if you're interested in physical media. It's a very niche area right now because a lot of people are going digital. But if you wanna sit down for a little bit, for a half hour, maybe a little bit longer, listen to a crazy guy just ramble into his camera about why you should buy these little plastic discs, then I'm the guy to come to, guys. I'm the guy to watch. So let's get into this question. Are you picking up Guns Akimbo? So the short answer is yes. I am looking to pick up Guns Akimbo tomorrow, and one of the main reasons for that is I meant to rent this movie a while ago when it first came out on VOD. I was on pay $7 to rent it, to watch it, get a review out, and I never got around to it. So the Blu-ray release got closer and closer. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait for the Blu-ray because I'm gonna pay $7 to rent it, or I'm gonna pay $14 or $15 to buy it. So it's only $7 more to buy it. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy it tomorrow. I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna give it a review for you guys. Probably on my Instagram page at Mid-Level Movie Reviews. If I feel passionate enough about it, I may do a video. I may mention it in my horror themed show. Although I'm not quite sure if it's a horror movie, it's definitely a genre movie. But yeah, I am going to pick up Guns Akimbo this week. So thank you for the question, Iceman Movies. All right, guys, so let's move on to the next one. And this one was kind of hard for me to figure out, but Unboxing Movies with Me sent, "What is the rarest Blu-ray you have in your collection?" So I'm not the type of physical media collector that gets out there and tries to collect all the rarest Blu-rays. I could have something in my collection that's super rare and I don't even know it because I honestly don't pay attention to that kind of stuff all the time. I just kind of buy what I want in my collection, and there's some things that come out that are exclusive, and I go ahead and pick it up, and it might be super rare right now, and I don't even know it, but I'm going to cover a couple things right here, just because I know that this one's kind of hard to get right now, and this is actually my favorite steelbook in my collection, and it'll segue me perfectly into my steelbook showcase this week on my channel, but Whiplash, the steelbook. I love this steelbook, and I was looking online, and this one's kind of rare and hard to find unless you go to eBay. But you can get it. It's not like it's super rare or anything, but I do love this steelbook, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if that counts as rare, but it's definitely obscure, and it was a Best Buy exclusive. So, I've got tons of Target exclusives for like the Avengers and Star Wars and all that stuff, Wonder Woman. I don't know how rare those are now. I imagine you could get on eBay and get any of them for $40 to $50, so I don't think that would count as super rare. But yeah, so I hope that answers your question, Unboxing Movies with me, and I'm sorry to disappoint you on that one, but yeah, just try to answer it the best I can. So that does it for the Q&A, guys, because nobody else submitted any questions. But maybe next week. So if you want to submit a question here on the Physical Media Report or the Haunting of Mid-Level, I usually do. I want to eventually get email set up for both of those shows, so y'all can send me questions in that way, but I haven't got around to do it yet. So the best way to do it, guys, is you follow me on Instagram at Mid-Level Movie Reviews, and 24 hours before I do the show, before I actually shoot it, I like to post a story that's kind of like a question story, and then you all can submit your question there. So I'll just put submit your questions in for the show on this story, and then you can click the story, you can type your question in, I'll see it that way, and then we'll get it on the show. So that's the easiest way to do it right now. And when I get the email set up, I'll go ahead and let everybody know that. So all right, guys, let's get to kind of the main event of the show. Maybe the reason you guys are all here, and you might have just clicked down at the timestamp below just to get to this point, because this is the only thing you're interested in, and that's what's coming out this week. So what's coming out this week, guys, is kind of complicated. There's not a lot of big releases coming out in stores, which might be kind of good because it gives us a reason to not go to the stores. Maybe you can buy most of this stuff online and get it sent to you at home. But the two big releases that are coming out in stores, the most notable ones that I'll go ahead and cover here is like I said, you have Guns Akimbo, and that should be in stores like I'm pretty sure Walmart probably have that, maybe Target, Best Buy for sure, but they're not open right now, but they might be doing curbside pickup for it. So you have Guns Akimbo, that's coming out this week on Blu-ray, and that's $14.99 for that one. And you also have the Mortal Kombat Legends, which let me go in here and look at this. That is receiving a 4K and a Blu-ray, and this is some kind of a Mortal Kombat animated film. I'm not sure. I'm not really into all this kind of. I mean, I like Mortal Kombat. I played it on Super Nintendo, but I'm not super into like the animated films and all that. And that's $24.96 for that one, and the Blu-ray is $19.99. So. And I do have my laptop in front of me right here, so I'm kind of scrolling through just to make sure that I don't miss everything. All right. But yeah, guys, those are the two big releases. I'm pretty sure Walmart has one that has a figurine with it. I'm going to click on this right here. Target also has an exclusive Steelbook Blu-ray for it. So that is probably the biggest release this week. And nope, it's the Best Buy exclusive has the Scorpion figurine with it. If you all want to get there, hopefully they're doing curbside pickup, so you all can pick that up. All right, guys. So those are the two. Like I said, those are the two big releases coming out in stores. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna double check through all these, and the rest are just kind of backlog catalog titles that are coming out. Let's see. Well, you do have Arrow. The 8th and final season of Arrow is coming out this week. That'll probably be in stores as well. So you have that. And let me double check again. I don't know if Arrow's getting an exclusive anywhere. But guys, that seems to be it. Unless there's some really like obscure movies coming out in stores today. Let's start going into these catalog titles, because the first one, and this is like front of the line in this week's Blu-ray pickups on Blu-ray.com. But yeah, the Grand Budapest Hotel is releasing a Criterion, and that cover is amazing. Like, I love the cover on this one. The Grand Budapest Hotel, I like the movie. To be honest, like, I'm not as familiar with Wes Anderson films. I'm trying to think. That might be the only one I've ever seen. Outside of Rushmore. I have seen Rushmore, but a long time ago. But the cover on it's amazing. The film's really good. It's just not one of my favorite movies. Not enough to get the Criterion release, but that cover is awesome. So if you like the Grand Budapest Hotel and you like collecting for Criterion, I definitely recommend grabbing that. And so the other thing was Sony is releasing a lot of their catalog titles this week. And the most notable one for me, well, there's a couple of them, but the most notable one for me was Just One of the Gods. And that's one of my favorite 80s movies. I did a video on here a couple months ago that did my top 10 movies from the year I was born, 1985. And Just One of the Gods is like my number 4. Like, I love that movie. It's one of the most underrated, underseen 80s films. And it was actually remade with I think Amanda Bynes in the early 2000s, and I can't remember what that was called, but it was the same concept. She dressed up like a guy and went to another school, and yeah, the 80s version is so much better though. So much better. And the other two that they're releasing, they got My Girl and My Girl 2. And yeah, I'll never watch My Girl again in my entire life. That movie just, it's too much. It's too much. And if you haven't seen My Girl, then you won't get that. But if you have, you might. And My Girl 2, it just wasn't the same. Wasn't the same. So the other movie you have Radio Flyer, and that's a Richard Donner film, and it has a very, very young Elijah Wood in it. That's coming out from the Sony line as well. And so let's move into some more obscure stuff here. You have Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and Arrow is releasing that this week. So if you guys are interested in that, like I said, guys, not a whole lot, to be honest. Just not a whole lot this week. You have this is surely going to be an Oscar-nominated film for 2021 if we even still have the Oscars. But Butt Boy releases on Blu-ray this week, so I've been hearing excellent things about Butt Boy. It is one of the most important films of this decade, is what a lot of people are saying. But yeah, Butt Boy is going to be costing $22.99. And it looks fantastic, and I cannot wait to see that movie. Just fantastic. What a title. What an incredible, thought-provoking title is Butt Boy. So, yeah. Yeah. If y'all couldn't tell, I was kind of joking there, but I figured you guys would already know that. You're a very smart crowd here at the mid-level media channel. All right, guys, and Warner Archive, I'm going to be mentioning Warner Archive a lot on here because they release a lot of stuff. They release a lot of stuff and they do a lot of great work. And two of the movies that they've got coming out this week, they might have more, but they have Blood on the Moon coming out, which is looks like an old school Western from 1948. And you know what, guys, I should have been more prepared for this. I really should have. But I like this. I like how natural this feels. I just like talking to you guys. Just kind of talking. And the other one is starring Paul Newman, and it's called He Used to Love Like Men. He used to love like most men use money. Cool. That's a very interesting title. And that's from 1962. Now, hold on. It's not called that. That's the tagline. The movie is called Sweet Bird of Youth, and that stars Paul Newman and Geraldine Page. So sorry, but they had the He Used to Love Like Most Men Use Money highlighted bigger than the actual title, so that's why, which you'll see, I'll post it up. That's why I thought it was that was the title, but I guess not. Okay, so we also have The Wind coming out this week from Arrow. So there you go, guys. If y'all collect for Arrow, that is another physical media distributor that I love. I love everything that Arrow puts out. And that American Werewolf set, I can't talk about it enough. I love it. But let's see, guys. I know Kino Lorber has some stuff coming out. We got Vinegar Syndrome's got some stuff coming out. Let's see. Vinegar Syndrome has Deadline, the Blu-ray. And that's about a screenwriter who begins to lose the ability to distinguish between his fantasies and reality with disastrous results. All right, so Deadline, that's a 1984 film, is releasing from Kino Lorber. And I don't collect a lot from Kino Lorber. I really don't. But yeah, I don't think. Or no, that's not Kino Lorber. Vinegar Syndrome. And Olivia is also releasing from Vinegar Syndrome. I actually do have a Vinegar Syndrome. I have one, and I haven't watched it yet, so I can't comment on how good of a distributor they are. But I know that people swear by them in the horror community because they do a lot of good work in horror. And you also have Dolly Dearest, which Vinegar Syndrome is releasing as well. So I would say that's the most notable. I almost feel like I've seen Dolly Dearest before, but I I can't really decide if I made that up in my mind or if it's demonic toys I'm thinking of or what, but that movie's from 1991. I feel like that was a movie that was on the VHS shelf of the horror section in the video rental store that I used to go to every weekend back when I was like 10 or 11, and I really feel like I saw that film. I really feel like I did. But yeah, guys, sorry, I'm getting really. There's not a lot this week. There's really not. There's really not. But I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna continue to pull out the little bits and pieces of everything that I can get my hands on this week to make sure that you all know what's going on in the world of physical media, because that is the most important to me. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Like, you can go on Blu-ray.com if you want to dig a little bit deeper. Those are the highlights, at least as far as I can see them. So right now, before we go off the air, I'm going to share with you all, and it's a very short list. I'm going to share with you all some of the things that I picked up this week. So like I said, I got two Paramount Presents titles. I got Fatal Attraction, and to be honest, I was a little disappointed in these releases because when you see the pictures online, they make it look like there's so much more to it. But it's really it just has a slipcover that opens up. And, you have this Blu-ray. And I've never been super crazy about the clear Blu-ray thing on there. It gets on my nerves because it doesn't match with the rest of my Blu-rays. And I wish they would just make it blue, because that's what it's supposed to be. And I don't know why. I think some people like it. I just don't like it. Let's see. You take the disc out and you kind of show you the artwork inside. It's got Michael Douglas and Glenn Close. But yeah, when they showed these pictures online, they made it look like there was a lot more to it than that. And, they got some special features on here a little bit. Filmmaker focus, director Adrian Lentz discusses Fatal Attraction, original special features, commentary by director, rehearsal footage, alternate ending. So at least they have a little bit of special features, because to be honest, like, these are $23, and I'm gonna have to watch it to decide for sure. And when I watch them, I might do a review on them. But for $23, I don't think this package presentation is necessarily worth it. I don't know, but I really like them, so I'm gonna continue to collect for them. So I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth there. I'm gonna continue to collect for them, but I don't think it's worth it. This is Alfred Hitchcock's To Catch a Thief. And I really like the covers on these. So you open it up, you got that inside, and you got filmmaker focus, Leonard Maltin on To Catch a Thief. It's awesome. I love Leonard Maltin, one of the best critics out there. Original special features, Behind the Gates, Cary Grant and Grace Kelly, commentary by Drew Gasper, Hitchcock film historian. So I'm really interested to watch this. I have not seen a lot of Alfred Hitchcock films. I know that makes me a bad film fan. I've seen Psycho. I love Psycho. It's in my top 5 horror movies of all time. And I've seen The Birds. And outside of that, like, that's all of his movies I think I've seen. And yeah, I'm looking to do like a Hitchcock series at some point on my channel. So the other big release I grabbed this week was, of course, Bad Boys on 4K. So you can't go without Bad Boys on 4K. That's the most important thing. That is the most important thing in life right now, because Bad Boys, to me, for life, is the best movie of 2020. I love it. There, I said it. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this day's edition of the Physical Media Report, episode 2. I hope you all enjoy it. I hope you feel a lot more informed now that you've watched this show than before you started watching the show, because that is my goal here at the Physical Media Report. So, like always, guys, go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Go ahead and like this video. Please like this video. If you don't do anything else, and just please give me a like. Just give me one little like, and then go on about your day, and we'll all be better off for it. So, and if you picked up anything this past week, if you have any questions to submit for next week's episode of the Physical Media Report, go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you picked up. Let's start a discussion. Let's start a topic on all the latest physical media releases, and let's just talk. Let's just have a conversation. Submit your questions for next week's episode, and we'll see you next time.